Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining in. Today, we're going to speak about a critical topic in the foreign exchange market, which is known as non-deliverable forward contract. Every second day, we are getting a sense in the newspaper that there is a difference between the premium and deliverable forward contract and non-deliverable forward contract. And as we earlier discussed, that non-deliverable forward contract is nothing but your hedges taken in the offshore financial center, which is Singapore, New York, London, Tokyo, Japan, Australia, Dubai, Shanghai, and all. What do you mean by non-deliverable forward contract? This is something which is very significant, which corporate treasurers need to understand. From this side, I'm Rahul Magan, working as a corporate treasurer in Excel Services India. At the same time, I'm a treasury trainer in various firms across the world, predominantly in Asia, and also working as a business consultant for various firms in India and in Asia, Singapore, and all. I'm also speaking for roughly 26 global forums across the world. My first book, which is Options for Risk-Free Portfolio, published in New York. Second, which is Interest, which is Technique to Hedge Your Interest Rate Exposure, is scheduled to publish in Sydney by December 2014. So I'm reiterating the fact that today I'm going to let you know about the computation methodology of non-deliverable forward contract. I hope you would be able to understand how a treasurer which is sitting in India or sitting in New York, London and all, he would be able to take a non-deliverable forward contract in his or her books. I'm going to speak about non-deliverable forward contract. In nutshell, non-deliverable forward contract are refers to as NDF contract. What do you mean by NDF contract? Why there is a need of NDF contract? NDF contracts are taken when there is nothing to deliver. The difference between deliverable forward contract and non-deliverable forward contract is that deliverable forward contracts are taken wherein you have something to deliver. Like Infosys India is delivering $1 million to JP Morgan India, and like take an example here. Basically, let me first explain what are the two types of contracts. One is deliverable forward contracts. Second is non-deliverable. In fact, rather I shouldn't use a word, but if I'm writing that what are the two forms of forward contracts, then I would say deliverable forward contracts and non-deliverable forward contracts. Deliverable forward contracts are those contracts wherein you have something to deliver, and non-deliverable forward contracts wherein you have nothing to deliver, however you would have net settlement. Deliverable forward contracts are taken assuming Infosys India is taking some hedges, say $1 million from JP Morgan India, and non-deliverable forward contract is taken when Infosys US is taking hedges with JP Morgan Singapore. Now please be note that at the place of Infosys US, you could have Infosys Singapore, Infosys Mauritius, Infosys Cayman, and Infosys London, Infosys Malaysia, any company. And at place of Singapore, you can have any offshore financial center. What are the 7 offshore financial center? Singapore, Hong Kong, London, Frankfurt, Luxembourg, which is New York, Australia. The emerging one is Shanghai, Dubai, and so on. So any entity of Infosys, of course, which should not be Indian entity, any entity of Infosys can take hedges in any of the global delivery, in any of the offshore treasury centers, which could be Singapore, Hong Kong, London, Frankfurt, Luxembourg, New York, Australia, Shanghai, and Dubai. Now, how a non-deliverable forward contract works? Well, here we take an example of an Indian entity, which is say Infosys India. Of course, Infosys India cannot take any kind of NDF contract, so contract will be taken in the books of Infosys India, however taken on behalf of Infosys India. Now Infosys US will take the hedges with say JP Morgan Singapore, and JP Morgan Singapore say Infosys US to sell $100 million. Now let me elaborate again. Forward contracts are of two types. One is deliverable forward contract, second non-deliverable forward contract. Deliverable forward contract is further into two types. One is buy side contract, second is sell side contract. Let me write here in case of your understanding. So you have two types of forward contracts. One is deliverable contracts, second is non-deliverable contracts. Now deliverable contracts are further of two types. You have buy side contract, you have sell side contract. It is further of two types. You have buy side contract and you have sell side contract. Buy side refers to importer, sell side refers to exporter. Buy side refers to importer, sell side refers to exporter. Here we are covering an example of Infosys India, which is this, and sell side. So we would be covering an example of non-deliverable contracts on sell side. Now Infosys US will book a contract to sell $100 million with JP Morgan Singapore. The contract value, suppose Infosys India is sitting on 31st of July for 28th of August. Now there are three dates in non-deliverable forward contract. The one date is refers to as date of booking. When you are booking the contracts, which is today, you are booking a contract of 31st July. When is going to be your fixing day? Fixing day is further divided into two parts, which is known as near term fixing, which is known as far fixing. Near fixing refers to if you are booking for 31st July, then this is your near fixing. If you are booking for 31st July over 28th of August, then this is refers to far fixing. Please be remember that you are taking a contract today over some period of time, which is not deliverable forward contract. What is a forward contract? Any contract taken today over some period of time. So you are taking a contract which is 31st of July. You are taking a contract which is 31st of July 14 to 28th of August 14. Why I am taking 28th of August? Because 29th is a holiday in India, 30th is Saturday and 31st is Sunday. So let me rub this off and elaborate again. So you have booking date is what? Which is 31st July 14, which is also known as near term fixing. You have deal date is what? Booking date is also known as deal date. You have far fixing date is what? (28th of August 14). I am reiterating the fact that 29th is a holiday because of Ganpati festival, 30th is a Saturday and 31st is a Sunday. So you have 28th of August 14. Now you have settlement date. Settlement date for INR is always T plus 2. So 30th, 29th is off, 30th is off, 31st is off, you have 2nd September. So as a corporate treasurer, how we are going to reiterate that? Pay attention here. We are going to say we are taking a contract of 31st July 14 over 28th August 14 with settlement date of 2nd of September 14. I'm again reiterating the fact as a corporate treasurer, once I'm dealing in Singapore, I'm going to say we are taking a contract of 31st July over 28th of August with settlement date of 2nd of September 40. Now, how we are going to fix the price? The price would happen 31st July fixing. 31st July fixing by RBI, which is say 62 plus 1 month premium. Say 1 month premium is 40 paisa. So your net outright rate would be 62.4 rupees per dollar. I am again reiterating the fact that the settlement, basically the fixing, basically the net rate would be the fixing rate, which is 62 plus the settlement plus the 1 month premium, which is 40. So net would be 62.40. Once the 28th August would come, now assume you are at 28th of August 14, then you would see RBI fixing. Say I am taking 3 rates. The net is 62.40. One RBI fixing at 58. One is 62.40. Second is 66. If RBI fixing would happen at 58, now as a corporate treasurer thing, you sold $100 million at 62.40. RBI fixing happened at 58. It means you have a gain of 4 rupee 40 paisa into 100 million, 10 raised to the power 6 divided by 58. This would be the net amount JP Morgan Singapore will pay to Infosys US, not to Infosys India, because Infosys India would only pass the revaluation gain and losses in the books. Second would be 62.40. The rate booked 62.40, fixing happened at 62.40, net would be 0, so nothing pay, nothing receive. Next would be 66. Here Infosys will lose 3 rupees 60 paisa into 100 million raised to the power 66 rupee. So this is the net dollar amount Infosys India will receive. This is the net dollar amount Infosys India will pay, and here is going to be nothing. But one thing which corporate treasurers have to bear in mind, that once you book the contract, this contract is booked at 9:45 a.m. because Singapore is 2.5 hours ahead than you. You book a contract at 9 a.m. when your market is open. So basically max to max 9:45. 9:45 effectively, if you take this as 10, then Singapore is 12:30. So Singapore would be roughly 12:15 or so when Singapore market is at top. Between 9:45 to 5 p.m. IST, there is a movement of rupee, as there is a movement in spot and forward, and premium. This movement is known as M2M, mark to market, which no treasurer can hedge at any moment of time. So this is all about non-deliverable forward contract. I am again reiterating the fact that non-deliverable forward contract is one of the important and critical element when it comes to hedging of your receivable and payables. There is a big misnomer that non-deliverable forward contracts can only be taken basically when you have receivable in the books. You can take non-deliverable forward contracts when you have payable in the books. You should also be aware of the fact that how the fixing is happening. In case of USD INR non-deliverable forward contract, fixing is happening via RBI fixing, which happened at 12:45. RBI fixing would happen at 12:45. So how you would take this? If you're taking contract at 9:45, you will wait for 12:45. Fixing would come at 62, 40 paisa premium log, net would be 62.40. And once you reverse your trade, you will wait on 28th of August. You wait for that fixing. Fixing would, suppose that fixing would be 3. So this much gain loss you could settle. At the end, I would like to reiterate the fact that as a corporate treasurer, in case you have some kind of receivable and payable exposure and you have one foreign subsidiary, which could be your Singapore subsidiary, London subsidiary, Mauritius subsidiary and all, you should place your hedges in SOC 7 financial centers, which is Singapore, London, New York, Dubai, Australia, Japan, Shanghai and others, Hong Kong. And it is very important for you not to hedge your entire receivable and payables using deliverable contract as a non-deliverable forward contract as well. You're welcome to contact me at 919899242978, and you're welcome to email me at rahulmagan8@gmail.com.